Spaces where you exit. Keep your head up. Press your foot on the pedal and never let up. If they say that you can't, that's when you get up and stand. Show them you can. Baby, you know you got it. Please don't let nothing stop it. What other option but to? And no matter the hate, just remember you're great. Shout out and say Vanguard for the.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Amb Perspective. I'm your host, Amber Reese, and today's episode, we're just gonna take a walk down memory lane and go back down some great moments of season 1 of the Amb Perspective with my producer, Jose.
Hello there. So, how was starting off the Amb Perspective? What gave you the idea to start it as the Amb Perspective?
Well, for starters, I got into it because, as you know, I have a friend, Freddie, who did a show here 10 years ago, the mutual friend of ours. And basically, I started off doing sound off first, and I did 4 episodes of that. And then I remember my last episode, which was my first Amber Eats episode at Frenchie's. And Mr. John was like, you can have, your own show. So what made me want to do a podcast, it was more so of, I like the quietness more of it, as you say, versus being in the main studio where it's big and you have to have a show well thought out. I mean, with the podcast, you have to do it too, but I'm learning the best ones are the off guard.
That's interesting. So, because this is a callback for all of your Amb Perspective, which one was your favorite, if I have to say so myself?
Well, I would have to say you want to do from Amber Eats and you want to do from an episode?
Yes, but answer with Amber Perspective first.
Okay. Well, my favorite episode of the Amb Perspective right now at the moment is...
Sorry, guys. I forgot the mic was not even
Yeah, me too. We're just sitting here talking. My favorite episode right now of the Amb Perspective is the one with Keith Jones. As a matter of fact, let's roll a little clip.
I hope that when I show up in spaces, like I was fortunate enough to meet you years ago, right? I hope that when I come across somebody such as yourself or other individuals in these spaces that are intentional, that I leave them, at worst, I leave you neutral, right? Like you like, okay.
In Amber Eats episode, it definitely would have to be my first one with Mr. Kevin and Mrs. Patrice O'Neill at Frenchie's Coffee Bar, because when they opened up, it was my first time doing the show. Mind you, this is something that I created for myself. So it was new, and they were a new restaurant, and they gave me a chance to, to let them be my first interviewer. So that has to be my top favorite. And the Amb Perspective right now, Keith Jones. But to go back to your other question, how I came up with the title, The Amb Perspective, I don't know if you heard of Judy Heumann, the mother of the Disability Rights Act.
No.
Well, anyway, that after reading her book and, her just kind of, giving her perspective, because, that's in her title. I hope I'm not going to get copyrighted or sued after saying this. But that is kind of where I took my little spin, because I'm like, I like to talk. I like to give my perspective on things. So that's where it basically came from, yeah.
Okay. So, what was the most? Was it difficult when you started your first like journey through the Amb Perspective, if I may ask?
Well, I by the time I started doing the Amb Perspective, I was already like what 6 shows in. Cause don't forget, I started off doing Sound Off first. Sorry. So basically, I just I wasn't really nervous once I started the Amb Perspective. Now Sound Off, whew. I mean, if Freddie was here right now, he would tell you I was so nervous and sweating and trying to be perfect. But I've learned, when I say the best episodes are the off guard, I mean not so much writing everything down and, having everything rehearsed, because that's how I was used to doing things. So now I don't do that at all, and I find that it still comes out.
Okay. So, people know who I am because, like, I also run the Twitch. But let's get into this question. How do you feel about me always editing your videos now lately? About stuff like that.
I mean, you're great at what you do, and if I have suggestions, as always, I always speak up regardless. 'Cause I feel like I'm executive producer without really editing, but I know exactly how I want it. But you do a great job, and at times I know it may seem like I have a lot of demands, but LOL, just kidding. But you and Ricky, you guys do a great job with making sure that my vision comes to life.
I mean, that's all possible because of Soundry and grateful people.
Right.
But, like, because he keeps talking about Sound Off, let's get a little further in that. How did you get into Sound Off, and how did Freddie, the person your friend, got you here and introduce you to John?
Well, basically, I started off about 5 years ago, 2018, doing YouTube. I mean, if you guys haven't watched the episode with me and Ebony P, that kind of gives you a glimpse at how I got started in general with just being in social media. But anyway, basically about mid 2018, mid 2019, I was working with Ebony at first, and then I saw the momentum that I was getting from doing that, and then I was like, I want to start my own channel. And what I was doing was, I was like, people need to see me more. So I started doing live shows on Facebook. And then from there, like, I started off doing question of the day, where I would ask a general question and go live and see people respond and interact. And then I wanted to do a show, so then I came up with the Amber Show on Instagram. And Freddie happened to be with me, and he listened to an episode. I think it was what cerebral palsy means to me. And he was just like, you got it. And I'm like, what? He was like, I'm going to talk to my boss. And I'm like, about what? He was like, so he calls me one day. He's like, so how would you feel if you had your own show? And I'm just like, huh? He was like, I talked to my boss. He was like, we're going in such and such day. It was June 12th. And we went in there. Mr. John met me, and, the rest was history.
Okay. So, I'm just thinking because it's my first time ever interviewing you in the show. So, do you still keep touch with the people that you have done a show with? I understand you did a show with your cousin, your aunt. Those are family. But what about, like, Twaz. I think it's Twaz or Twiz.
Twiz. Yeah.
All stuff like that.
I keep in touch with Samaj. Oh my god. That's also one of my favorite episodes too. I keep in touch with Samaj. You know, I don't keep in touch with like everybody, even though I should, because you know they did, you know, come on the show. But you know, certain people I may say, hey, how you doing from time to time, but it's not like as, you know, frequent. And even with Samaj, it's not like all the time thing. But if I see him doing great things, like just the other day, his song just got posted by a streamer, and they did one of his songs, and they did a review on it, and I had hit him up the other day, you know, just congratulating him. But yeah, and you know, Mr. Keith, I try to keep in touch because a lot of people, I just, you know, keep it, you know, hi, how you doing, what's up, and that's, you know, it.
Is there anything else you want
No,
to say? It looked
that's
like
it.
looked like you just cut out like.
No, that's it. But no, I should keep in touch with a lot of them and support them. But you know, it's just life happens, you know. So yeah, even though I should.
So, what do you see in the future for this show? I understand it's been almost 5 years you've been running it, technically because you were running Sound Off for a little bit with Freddie. But
No. It's only been, I've only done this for a year, but
like I'm talking about generally.
In general for me.
Because you said you were talking about it and you were doing it on Facebook, you were doing Instagram, YouTube, all stuff like that. I'm just saying in general.
Where do I see myself next? Probably this getting to be worldwide beyond Sound Off. You know, I would like to go to school to get my associate in media and production to enhance, you know, my knowledge when it comes to this. I definitely see myself doing bigger things, you know, this being worldwide and not just, you know, just in Sound Off. Like, I want my own production company, Goddess Has Spoken Productions, because that is the name of my YouTube channel, by the way, and if you guys get a chance, check it out. I definitely, you know, want my production to, you know, have a space for the able-bodied community and for the disabled community to just be themselves and be free, and you know, documentaries, movies, you know, anything. But my number one rule with that is I want disability to be incorporated with it, because we need to see more inclusivity, and being that I come from the differently able community myself, I would want to see that in more movies and more shows, which it has come around, but I want to see it more broader and more wider.
So I'm gonna keep getting in, not like it's like personal, but not too personal. It's like able to be mentioned. So what were the difficult challenges during the Amb Perspective when you were running it, if I may ask?
Well, like I said, by the time I started doing the podcast, I felt more comfortable versus doing like a show in the main studio, because it's so big, and you know, I think the challenge for me was just trying to balance going from YouTube. Like, I just felt like I couldn't be my normal self. And it was hard for me to balance, you know, taking the energy that I put forth on social media, like on YouTube or my Instagram, and bringing that here and merging the two worlds together, I guess you could say. So it was basically me just trying to be comfortable with doing both and bringing those energies together, and just realizing it's just you just got to bring you. It was no.
So, is there like any message you want to say, or the people you watch? Because I know you support the able body. You said
The able-bodied community
able-bodied
and
community
disabled. Yeah.
and disabled. But what about the people who are able to do all stuff like who you can't do, like me? Because I can walk and all stuff like that. But is there any message you want to say for everybody?
You mean like a message to the viewers?
Yes. Like, even though people go through different challenges, we're all like together as people. That's what I was like trying to imply.
Okay. Well, to start off, I just want to thank, to each and every viewer who tunes in. Whether if you tune in on Tuesdays, yeah, the show comes on Tuesdays, right? Tuesdays, Mondays.
I'm not the one who decides. That's Boomy.
Either I believe it's Tuesday or Mondays. I'm not sure, but I believe it's Tuesday. I just want to thank everyone that tunes in. Whether if you watch it on YouTube as well, and you follow me on YouTube, you follow Soundview on YouTube, I just want to say thank you. To anyone that may be going through a difficult time, may just want to get into their career path, but don't really know how to do it, just do it. And just be you while you do it. And have fun while you do it. And always keep God first in everything you do. And always remain humble.
Now you spoke of something that now it's more interesting because I can go off of that. You started talking about God. When did you get religious and start like mention him on your shelves, if I may ask?
Well, God has always been a part of my life. That's something that my mother has instilled in her children from a very young age. So that's always been in me. I've always mentioned God because without him, none of this, I or you or anybody in the world or anything that we do would be possible. So, and it's important for me to give him the glory because without him, I wouldn't have any of this. So it's important for me to make sure that he gets all the praise and all the glory in the work that I do. So, yeah.
So, is there any questions you want to ask me as your like editor and producer of your videos?
I want to know, cause I want to know how is it working for me, like.
Working for you it's easy because I have my own time to do it. It's not like you're saying, "Oh, I need this at exact this date." You let me and try to do it as my own pace. Because if you like, I hate when people rush me. That's one of my like ticks. Is people who try to rush me when I have to do something. It's difficult, yes, because editing is one of the most difficult things for people. Because you have to keep cutting out parts.
Definitely.
But it's been easy, simple. Sometimes I forget what I have to do. And that's why I always ask you questions and all stuff like that. I try to watch the videos to see who the person is and all stuff like that to find their social media. But with you actually, when I need some information about the person, you actually send it to me. And it's more easier to have less, like, more time looking than editing.
Right.
So it's been easy and simple. And it hasn't been a bother.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate all that you do for me. I appreciate what everybody does for me because, sometimes I know that it can be a lot. And in my head, like, this is one thing I've learned while working in here. I could have an idea that's, like, huge, but it's like we have to cut it down to a half an hour. We have to make this, a half an hour. So that's something that I've had to learn, and just you know I just appreciate having the opportunity to do what I do. So yeah. And I'm grateful for what you do, because I know sometimes you could be like, wow, she really, I wonder what be in her head sometimes, because I'd be like, oh man, I mean, that may be a lot when you tell somebody, but when you have a vision, it's like,
I try to make it possible. Yes.
right, yeah, right.
Because a lot of the stuff, like I try, if you watch your videos on YouTube, when I post them on SoundView, I try change it up for the lower thirds. Because I think my best one with it was with Yana Jack. Yvonne Jack. You saw how I was trying to make it different than the other ones. Right. I understand it's not what you want, but I want to see your...
I mean, my thing is, my style is, yes, I'm in a wheelchair, and that's obvious. But I try to be different from what I see. Like, I mean, you could see that even with my, even with my hair. Like, I try to go for things and be like, oh, why would you do that? Like, because I love that reaction.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's always good to get more reactions. But is there any last thing you want to say before we have to slowly wrap this up?
I just want to go through the montage of some of my best moments. So if we can roll it, let's roll it.
Downtown Special Services District, the Bridgeport Downtown Special Services District, and we put on events and activities in downtown Bridgeport to make the neighborhood more welcoming to the residents and visitors. And so the farmers market is part of those activities, actually.
Great.
I said, fight fatigue when you hard pressed. True grit is measured in sweat. For every failure is a testament. Let's toast to success. For all the loss and gain, pleasure and pain. Find value in the challenge, just a part of the game that we play. Unfazed, a barrier meant to break like an armbar. Wrestle in cage like MMA. Grapple with this thing called life. Every day feeling pinned down. Ready to tap out, no way. Don't let it snap you. Laugh if you have to. Keep from crying, take a flight, or stay fighting. Confrontation. Can't ignore April showers, it rains, it pours. May weather, spring forth, flowers filled with joy. Until then, roll with the punches like Floyd. Some things you gotta shoulder, eventually you'll get.
See, as laws of the streets, I took an oath to it. Never tell, never fold, be a coach to it. Never tell if you caught up in the jam. Never fold, be a man. Never utter, not a plan. Got that work. All butter, Peter Pan. All summer, acid track. All customers do the math. All numbers. If they ever get the whip that you got it in them zips, they gonna line you up for them bricks. At the age of 16, I was in the mix. Hating bricks. I got
His coffee bar came about as we noticed the love for pets and coffee in the morning. So we bought our first French Bulldog 2 years ago, and we started to realize how many people love seeing a French Bulldog, and then we realized the town of Stratford doesn't have their own unique.
And I just want to say thank you to the viewers. I can't wait for season 2 and for all the great things that we're going to do. I'm gonna try and spice things up for season 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, hopefully, Lord willing. And I just want to say thank you to everybody, and I'm so grateful to be in the position that I'm in and have a platform to be able to share it with others so that they can share their stories with you. And to all the guests that have come on, Twiz, Samaj, Yvonne, Mr. Keith, Mr. Kevin, and Miss Patrice, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because without you, the interviews wouldn't have been possible. And to my production and the Soundview family, really, you guys have melted my heart, and you guys have become my family, and this is my home away from home. Well, third home away from home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, because, you know, Frenchie's is number 2.
Yeah, I understand. But that's almost all the time we have. Is you want to say a little goodbye before we have to leave?
Well, I just want to say thank you for everyone that has tuned in, and happy holidays, and sit tight. December 20th is the official last episode of the Amb Perspective, and I will keep you guys posted when season 2 will be happening. Happy holidays. God bless everyone, and thank you for all the love and support, and I greatly do appreciate it.
Till spaces where you exit. Keep your head up. Press your foot on the pedal and never let up. If they say that you can't, that's when you get up and stand. Show them you can. Baby, you know you got it. Please don't let nothing stop it. What other option but to? And no matter the hate, just remember you're great. Shout out and say,